Marcus stood on the courthouse steps, sunlight brushing his face. The air was cool, but his hands felt hot, clenched tightly around his phone. On the screen, the message glared back at him. "Nice win today, but don't get too comfortable. We know what you did." His heart thudded once, hard, against his ribs. What was this? Who sent it? And what did they mean by, "We know what you did"? Marcus had fought for everything in his life with clean hands. He hadn't cheated. He hadn't cut corners. He hadn't done anything but work harder than most men could imagine. So why did that text feel like a threat? As he walked down the steps, Marcus's mind raced. He scanned the crowd. Was someone watching him right now? He slipped his phone back into his pocket and tried to steady his breathing. Behind him, the courthouse doors opened. The young man he had defended ran up, his mother beside him. Tears streamed down her face as she clutched Marcus's hand. "Thank you, Mr. Johnson," she whispered. "You saved my son's life today. Don't let anyone make you doubt yourself." Marcus forced a small smile. Justice did its job today. But deep down, the message pulsed in his mind like a drumbeat. "We know what you did." That evening, Marcus sat in his small but tidy office. Files stacked neatly on his desk. Books lined across the shelves. The room smelled faintly of coffee and determination. But tonight, there was no peace. He opened his laptop, pulling up recent case files. Was someone accusing him of misconduct? Did the prosecution plant this? Was the judge behind it? Then his office phone rang. The caller ID, unknown. Marcus hesitated. His thumb hovered over the answer button. Finally, he picked it up. "Mr. Johnson," a low voice said, "congratulations on your win today. Not everyone can stand against a judge like that." "Who is this?" Marcus asked, his tone sharp. "Someone who knows the truth," the voice replied. "But the truth can be dangerous, especially if the wrong people find out." The line went dead. Marcus sat frozen, the dial tone echoing in his ear. Suddenly, a memory slammed into his mind. His mother again, years ago, sitting at their kitchen table. She had looked him in the eyes and said, "Son, sometimes doing the right thing will make enemies you didn't even know you had. But you never let fear decide your path." He clenched his fists. His mother was gone now, but her words still guided him. He wouldn't back down. The next day, Marcus returned to the courthouse for a different case. But when he walked into the parking garage, a sleek black car pulled up beside him. The tinted window rolled down. Inside was the opposing lawyer from yesterday's trial, the same man who had smirked while the judge mocked Marcus. But today, that smirk was gone. His eyes darted nervously, his voice lowered. "You don't know what you've stepped into, Johnson. Yesterday wasn't just about your client. That case, it touched something bigger. Something you shouldn't have won." Marcus's pulse quickened. "What are you talking about?" The lawyer swallowed hard. "They're watching you now. And if you keep pushing, if you keep winning, you'll find out exactly what we mean." Before Marcus could respond, the car sped off, tires screeching in the dim garage. Later that night, as Marcus worked in his office, he found something strange slipped under his door. Plain brown envelope. No name, no return address. Inside, photographs, dozens of them. Pictures of Marcus at the courthouse. Pictures of him at home. Pictures of him with his client yesterday. Some taken from angles that meant someone had been very close. And one photo in particular froze his blood. It was of him, standing in front of his mother's grave. The date stamped just last week. Scrawled in red ink at the bottom were the words, "Your past won't stay buried forever." Marcus's hands trembled as he stared at the photo. His jaw tightened, and for the first time in years, he felt fear coil in his stomach like a snake. Who were these people? What did they want? And what did his mother's past have to do with any of this? Just then, his phone buzzed again. A new message. He unlocked it, and his eyes widened. It was a video file, and when he pressed play, the first frame nearly made his heart stop. It was him, Marcus Johnson, sitting in his office, recorded through the window, from just hours ago. Someone was watching him, and the photos were taken from angles that meant someone had been very close. And one photo in particular froze his blood. It was of him, standing in front of his mother's grave. The date stamped just last week. Scrawled in red ink at the bottom were the words, "Your past won't stay buried forever." That night, Marcus sat alone at his desk. The flash drive the Navy veteran gave him lay in front of him. Small, ordinary, but inside, evidence that could shake the system. Corrupt judges, backroom deals, secret bank accounts, names he recognized, names that terrified him. Marcus rubbed his temples. If he used this, he'd be painting a target on his back forever. But if he didn't, the Brotherhood would keep destroying lives in the dark. He leaned back, closed his eyes, and in that silence, he heard his mother's voice again. "Marcus, don't be afraid of battles. Be afraid of silence. Because silence is how injustice wins." He opened his eyes. Decision made. He was going to fight. The next morning, Marcus called the veteran. "We're going to court," Marcus said. The veteran chuckled darkly. "You realize what that means?" Marcus nodded. "It means I won't be the only one fighting anymore. The truth will." They spent days preparing. Documents scanned. Records verified. Witnesses contacted. Marcus built a case so airtight, it would choke anyone who tried to escape it. And finally, the day came. The courtroom was packed. Reporters crammed into the back rows. Spectators whispered. And at the front, Judge Harold Whitmore presided. Whitmore, one of the Brotherhood's own. His smirk told Marcus everything he needed to know. This wasn't going to be easy. The opposing counsel was a polished attorney named Robert Kane. Sharp suit, slick hair, and the arrogance of a man who believed the system would always protect him. Kane leaned across the table, whispering just loud enough for Marcus to hear. "You're out of your league, Johnson. Walk away while you can." Marcus stared at him, calm, unblinking, and said nothing. Kane opened with confidence. "The defense's claims are outrageous conspiracy theories, Your Honor. They have no place in this courtroom." Judge Whitmore nodded, pretending to be impartial. "Mr. Johnson," he drawled, "you may present if you must." The gallery chuckled. It was just like before. Laughter, mockery, doubt. Marcus stepped forward, flash drive in hand, and with a steady voice he began. "Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this isn't a conspiracy. This is a cover-up. And today, I'm going to prove it." Marcus plugged the flash drive into the projector. The first file appeared on the screen. Bank records. A transfer of $2 million from a corporation under investigation to a judge's private account. Gasps filled the room. Marcus clicked again. Email exchanges. Judges coordinating with lawyers to fix trial outcomes. Kane shot to his feet. "Objection. This evidence is inadmissible." Marcus turned calmly. "This evidence comes directly from encrypted files pulled by a federal whistleblower, and it can be verified by multiple forensic analysts. Would you like me to call them now?" Whitmore's smirk faltered. The jury leaned in, wide-eyed. The tide was shifting, but Kane wasn't finished. He adjusted his tie, forcing a grin. "Even if these files are authentic, they prove nothing about this case. What we have here is a desperate man trying to smear respected officials for his own gain." The judge nodded slightly, seizing the lifeline. "Mr. Johnson, unless you can connect this directly to the matter at hand, I'll be forced to dismiss." The gallery murmured in shock. Marcus's stomach dropped. They were trying to bury him. Again, just as the gavel lifted, the Navy veteran stood. "Your Honor, may I approach?" Whitmore scowled. "Sit down. You're not on record here." But Marcus stepped forward. "Actually, Your Honor, he is. As of this morning, he's been sworn in as a witness." The veteran handed Marcus a folder. Inside, photographs. Not just documents. Pictures of secret meetings. Kane, Whitmore, businessmen shaking hands in backrooms. Even timestamps proving it. Marcus placed them on the projector. The courtroom erupted. Kane's face drained of color. Whitmore slammed his gavel, desperate. "Order! Order!" But it was too late. The jury had seen it. The reporters had seen it. The truth was out. The trial ended in chaos. The jury demanded further investigation. Reporters stormed out to file stories. And federal agents, who had been tipped off by Marcus days earlier, entered the courtroom to seize evidence. Kane tried to leave. The veteran blocked his path. "Not today," he said coldly. Whitmore banged his gavel one last time, before his own bailiffs placed him in handcuffs. For the first time, Marcus allowed himself a small smile. Justice was winning. That evening, Marcus walked out of the courthouse. The crowd outside cheered. Reporters swarmed. But Marcus wasn't celebrating. He knew the Brotherhood was bigger than the men arrested today. It was a network, a machine, and today he had only cut off one of its arms. As he walked down the steps, the veteran joined him. "You did good, Johnson." Marcus nodded. "Did we win?" The veteran sighed. "For now. But remember, cut off one head, and another grows back." Marcus looked out at the flashing cameras, at the reporters shouting his name, and then at the darkened streets beyond them. He knew the veteran was right. The fight wasn't over, not by a long shot. That night, Marcus sat in his office again. The flash drive, empty now, rested on his desk. But next to it lay a new envelope. No return address, no markings. Corruption doesn't end with one case. Prejudice doesn't die in a single courtroom. But courage, integrity, they spread. One act of resistance can inspire another. And while the fight is never over, neither is the strength to keep fighting. If this story resonated with you, please kindly like and drop your comments below. Please don't forget to subscribe to get notifications when next we drop a new story that educates us on standing tall for our right in the society.